Welcome to the Investing Podcast presented by Tusk Media. The final bell has rung and the market is now closed. So let's move on to an audio and video recap with the Investing Happy Hour.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Investing Podcast presented by Tusk Media. It's Thursday, September 8th. I'm not fact checking that. I'm pretty sure that's the right date. We're just going to roll on. Investing Happy Hour, Andrew Hall here, joined by the unit, Matt Krebs. What's up?
What up?
How you doing, man?
Not bad. Long meeting today.
Long meeting today. A lot of long meetings lately, it seems like. Also, I've been doing a lot of phone interviews.
Yeah.
And pro tip out there, if you're listening to this interview and you say, oh wait, that was me. If you say, hey, can I call you right back, and you don't call right back in the middle of a phone interview, you're out.
That's what they did.
Yeah, so that just happened in real life.
Yikes.
Also, if you schedule a phone interview for at work during work hours, you can't be real shocked when your boss is around and you have to get off the phone real quick. Just another pro tip out there. So
Amateurs.
shout out to you. You know who you are. I know you're watching. Let's just jump into these markets. Dow down a little bit, about 0.25%. S&P down a little bit as well. Nasdaq down about 0.5%. Global down just a little bit. Gold down more than 0.5%. Thank goodness for oil. We would have had the full redgasm, so oil up a little bit more than 4%, so pretty strong day for oil.
Super strong.
But ugly day for the most parts, just as a function of the numbers. Seeing a lot of red, but no panic yet. We're staying calm here. Aleppo. What are your thoughts on Aleppo?
Yeah, I'm so in the dark on this. I really don't know what it means.
This is great. You're playing right into it. So the Syrian conflict, Aleppo is basically like ground zero for it.
Oh.
And Gary Johnson, alleged presidential candidate Gary Johnson, was asked about Aleppo and what he would do there, because this is kind of like an unbelievable human rights battleground right now.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, about what? And they said, Aleppo. And he said, what is that exactly? And the interviewer said, are you serious? And he didn't have an answer. And so then they were kind of this focal point of the Syrian conflict. And he goes, oh, yeah, well, with Syria. And he just gave a generic answer. So
that's why I'm not running for office.
Hey, you could, or maybe it's why you should be running. Now, in all fairness, I don't know that Trump would have answered that question any better.
So you just went to the wall or something?
Yeah. We're gonna build a wall around it. So we're gonna wall off Aleppo. Aleppo, great segues, by the way. All show today. So Aleppo was actually trending on Twitter, but it was spelled wrong on Twitter. So that was pretty fun. Gotta love the informed American electorate, out there making fun of people for not knowing what Aleppo is and then spelling it wrong. But it's trending on Twitter. Not a good day for Twitter, down a little more than 5%, which is about where it was in pre-market trading. Kind of an odd, you had the CNBC story and then really nothing since. We haven't really heard anything. And on Twitter, people tweeting about Twitter, it was funny because a lot of people are taking this really hard. I guess CNBC hates on Twitter all the time.
Yeah.
They were taking a really hard stance on it. And apparently at lunch, CNBC had Twitter commentary from, I forget the guy's last name, but that Milo guy, the guy that got kicked off and banned on Twitter, they had him come on and give commentary. So everybody was like, this is just CNBC hating on Twitter. But apparently, at least according to CNBC, no buyouts. They're going to look to cut some costs, save some money, but nothing else really.
See, that seems like an odd strategy to me for a growth company to worry about that.
Yeah,
usually you think it's just worry about, hey, grow as fast as you can.
Grow
your revenue base, whatever.
Yeah, I think you got that. And I think kind of the read-through was, in a lot of ways, some of the commentary, though, even on the CNBC story, almost lended itself to there actually being consideration of a buyout, even though it was saying there wasn't. Because they said things like, hey, this isn't a meeting about Jack Dorsey's leadership and management. They said this is, we're going to give him some more time, a couple more quarters to kind of employ his strategy, which I guess he hadn't even been there a full year as full-time CFO, or CEO, excuse me. So, I don't know. I mean, it's just going to be interesting to hear what we hear, if anything, from this. But I would have thought if we had something more concrete on not being a buyout, I would have thought the stock would be down more than 5%. But alas, 5% is a nice little bump in a bad way. But Twitter, they're going to get a nice little bump from the NFL, getting some broadcast rights going on there. I saw that Chris Carter is doing live analyst work on Periscope tonight for Twitter. So we got that going on. NFL kicking off today. Thoughts on the league in general? What you
The
feel?
league or the game?
The league. Let's talk about the start broad.
The league, I like the NFL.
You like the NFL?
Big fan.
Pro or college football? I feel like you're a little more of a pro guy.
I am kind of a little more of a pro guy. I just think the teams, like, it's easier to follow, like, on a wide basis, more consistently.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely, that's fair. The game tonight, Super Bowl rematch without Peyton Manning. We've got, I can't even remember the guy's name, Simeon.
From the
Yeah,
Broncos?
Is it Trevor
Trevor.
Simeon? Trevor Simeon.
Thanks, Peanut
Thanks,
Gallery.
thanks Barrett. Trevor Simeon starting at quarterback.
I like Carolina in that one. Actually.
Yeah, I like him a lot.
Like by far.
Yeah.
You don't like Broncos D or what?
I like the Broncos defense. I think the Broncos defense is very solid. But I don't trust their quarterback play whatsoever. And I also think the Broncos defense showed out in the biggest of moments. And I feel like this is kind of the type of game where you get a little bit of a reaction.
And you're a big Scam fan, right?
Love Scam Newton. I don't know. I'm interested to see what Cam can do with that D. We'll see. after some off-season preparation, we'll see what he can do.
And isn't Carolina's that one receiver back too that was hurt?
Yeah, so they're
But I can't remember his name. Kelvin Benjamin, I want to say.
yeah,
Is that
the
who it is?
huge guy, massive guy. Kelvin, he's like 6'6", 260. He's massive. But yeah, so with that in mind, out of the way, college football. You're leading right now. We'll bring out the panel here in just a minute, but you're leading right now. 10 correct picks in week 1 out of 15. Which
That was impressive,
That's
wasn't it?
real impressive. Ben also hit 10.
That wasn't as impressive though.
And it wasn't nearly as cool when Ben did it, you're right. Sam hit 8, I hit 7. Not a good week for me. Fun week though, I think everybody enjoyed the games. We didn't really get to watch any, but fun nonetheless, and we're back for week 2. So we'll bring out the panel. Sam Frost, Ben Nye, come on out. Take your places. Got the cheat sheet, so for those just now joining us, what we do is we pick every SEC game. We pick top 25 versus top 25. We pick Wisconsin games for Krebs, and we pick Washington games for Ben way down there. Along the way, we're betting against the spread, so we're trying to pick the actual winner. So first up, Wisconsin, 3:30 game. They're a 24-point favorite against Akron. They're at home. I'm taking Akron plus the 24 points, as is Ben. Krebs going with the Badgers. So is Sam.
That one was really hard for me.
Yeah, it's one of those weird zones.
I don't know. I just feel like in past years, Wisconsin, I don't think they're going to do it, but they always blow out bad teams pretty bad and run up the score pretty hard.
So I was debating between, they're going to just roll through the Zips or they're going to have a letdown game.
Yeah.
So I went with the letdown game theory. Ben, any thoughts, or Sam?
I think it's a letdown game. I mean, it's tough after you win such a close game to come out. I mean, Akron had a good game. I mean, it was not against a good opponent, but
that one,
they know how to score a touchdown this season, and that means a lot.
That's a big thing in football. Also at 3:30, Florida, a home team, 16.5-point favorite against Kentucky. Ben, you're the lone Gator on this. Got Florida minus the 16.5.
Yeah, I think home team is going to get it done, and I don't really think much of Kentucky. Good at basketball, but
Yeah, I don't think much of Kentucky either. I just don't know. I don't know what I think about either of these teams. Sam, you got
I was
thoughts?
saying, does that mean that you think something of Florida after last week's performance?
It's rough.
Yeah, so, after Florida's performance against UMass, I just struggle to say that they're going to blow out Kentucky. Not that I think much of Kentucky either, but Kentucky's got to be better than UMass.
Yeah.
I'm a big John Calipari fan, so.
So now that he's coaching the basketball program, got it. Got it. Alabama, 28.5-point favorite against Western Kentucky. I'm the only one that picked Western Kentucky, I believe. I like Western Kentucky in this. A little bit of a letdown at play. I think we're going to see some experimental quarterback play from Alabama. And Western Kentucky's a team that really knows how to score points, which, again, is useful for a football team. So I don't know that they're going to rack up a ton of points against Alabama's defense. I think it would be foolish to think that. But I think they're going to score enough and use up enough possession to not just get totally run out of the building. Sam, you got any thoughts?
Man, I just, Alabama plays Western Kentucky every year, and it seems to be the same results every year. I didn't get to see a whole bunch of Alabama game last week, but what I saw, it looked like they struggled early, but really kind of pulled it together. And Jalen Hurts, he really, dude's the real deal. And it seems like the team really rallies behind him, and I don't expect that to change.
All right, next game, we're all in agreement. The battle for the middle section of Tennessee. Vanderbilt, a 5.5-point favorite against MTSU, Middle Tennessee State. We're all going with Vandy. I don't think we want to talk about it. Washington, 37-point favorite against Idaho. Ben, you're picking against your team here.
Yeah, well, I mean,
So
37 points. I mean, I think they'll be up 35 at halftime, and then just put second string in, give them a rest. And that's one thing that I thought they were going to do. They weren't going to do in the first game, but they put a second string in. So I think that's going to happen again, and even sooner this game. So I just view the spread as capped because of that.
All right. Anybody got any other thoughts on that game?
I disagree.
That's so many points.
That's a lot of points. Mississippi State, a 6.5-point favorite at home against South Carolina. Me and Krebs are taking South Carolina. You got any logic behind it?
There's some alpha there. Some
Yeah,
potential alpha there.
potential alpha there. I like South Carolina. I don't think Mississippi State's good after the loss to South Alabama. I would hope that they would respond in a way that's favorable, but I have a hard time viewing a home loss to South Alabama more favorably than a road victory over Vanderbilt. So tiny sample size here. I don't think either of these teams are good, but based on
Are you pretty confident in that one?
Yeah, I feel pretty good about it.
I do too.
Yeah, Sam, defend your Bulldogs. Man.
Yeah, I went back and forth on this one, actually. Mississippi State kind of has two ways to respond to a loss to South Alabama. They come out with a lot to prove, or they could just lay down. South Carolina, I think, I'm pretty sure South Carolina's picked to finish last in the SEC. And then come out and win that first game against Vanderbilt,
Barely.
Yeah, whether it was barely or not, they found a way to win. And so they got a lot to prove, especially with the new coach and stuff, and Spurrier dipping out on them last year. I think South Carolina might be pumped up. Maybe Mississippi State could struggle with this game.
It's 6.5 seems like a pretty big line there. Like,
Yeah.
I don't see how this is more than like a 3-point line.
I
Either
agree.
way.
I agree.
TCU is 7.5 point.
You pick Mississippi State though.
Yeah, it's still a big line.
He's got to pick one way or the other.
And I just pitched South Carolina. I picked Mississippi State.
It's all right. I did
Oh,
that in
boy.
a game
It's locked
last
in.
week.
Oh,
It's
boy.
locked in. Once we get it, I did that in the Florida game last week. I was like, there's no way Florida's going to do this, but I already typed it in and it's too late. TCU, 7.5 point favorite against Arkansas at home. I don't think Arkansas is a good team. Sam, I don't think you do either. You're on my side on this in terms of having TCU minus the 7.5. Ben and Krebs, any thoughts on Arkansas? Or you just
I think you just know Arkansas better than me. I just feel like they're always like okay. I thought 7.5 was quite a bit for being an okay team, but I guess you disagree.
I disagree, but I could be wrong. It's hard.
I want to change that based on what you've told me about Arkansas.
Yeah,
But
and
it's locked in.
it's locked in.
I was also shocked on this game that the spread was only 7.5
Yeah, I would have
points.
thought more.
Yeah.
Would have thought more.
What does that tell you? Maybe you're missing something?
Maybe we're missing something, or maybe we're right. Early games are tough in the year because again, I think Arkansas is one thing, but we'll find out. Auburn, a 19-point favorite against Arkansas State. Everybody but Ben took Auburn minus the 19. Ben, going with the Wolfpack from Arkansas State.
Yeah, I think Auburn's just not very good, and I'm not going to give. I'm going to take 19 points on that.
All right.
You don't think they're good compared to what they did against Clemson?
I don't think they're good against any team in, especially like Pac-12. Pac-12 beats SEC all day.
Oh, there we go.
I give you that.
Bringing it back. Missouri, a 25.5 point favorite against Eastern Michigan. I don't know anything about Eastern Michigan. I just really hate Missouri. And It looks like we all
It
do.
seems like all those like random Michigan teams are always pretty good. Like
Yeah,
Western Michigan.
They're scrappy.
Yeah.
You got to watch out for the MACtion, baby.
Mhm.
That MAC conference. Tennessee, a 10.5-point favorite against Virginia Tech. You all went Virginia Tech. I went with Tennessee. I think Tennessee's going to respond. I think what we saw like week 1 was definitely an anomaly. I don't think Tennessee's a great team. They should not be ranked in the top 15. But I don't think Virginia Tech's good. And I think Tennessee's probably going to respond at an awesome neutral site game at Bristol Motor Speedway that they've been hyping for like 15 years. They've legitimately been talking about having a Tennessee game there, like as long as I've been alive. Now they're finally doing it, and that crowd's going to be like heavy slanted Tennessee, and I think that's going to be a big factor. Anybody got a defense of Virginia Tech other than just Tennessee played awful?
Yeah,
Pretty much.
that's basically what it was.
It's a good thesis.
Yeah. It's hard to be impressed with what Tennessee did week 1. So there you have it. Those are the games. A number of teams are playing FCS opponents, so there's not lines on those a lot of times during the year. So that's why we only had a few games compared to last week. But that's about all we got. Anybody else got any college
Do you know
football?
do you want to go over the intern lock of the week?
Oh yeah. Oh, great call. So the intern lock of the week, Arkansas plus 7.5 points. So interns so far, they've not picked a single game correctly.
That one.
Probably going to miss this one as well. It's kind of weird, it's one of those things. I was texting with Austin last week, and I asked him for a lock of the week, and he like nailed it.
He did?
Yeah, he's never missed. But anyway, so there you have it. We'll see if Barrett ever gets one right. And y'all have a great night. We'll be back tomorrow. And yeah, bye.
Tusk Media is a subsidiary of Narwhal Capital Management. Ratings and reviews of Tusk Media content are not to be construed as endorsements of opinions, analysis, or services offered by Tusk or its parent company. The opinions and predictions shared here are professional beliefs at the time of publication. We are not under duress from any of the corporate entities mentioned. This is not a solicitation to take any particular action. Although we are investment advisors, this information should not be considered investment, legal, or tax advice. We strive to be as impartial, insightful, and accurate as possible. We base our opinions, analysis, and calculations on information we believe to be reliable, but we cannot guarantee its accuracy. We can, however, guarantee that our opinions will sometimes be flat out wrong due to a variety of factors. Employees and clients of Narwhal Capital Management may or may not hold positions in the securities detailed and may or may not hold these positions in the future. A full list of all securities purchased, sold, or held during the 12 months preceding the date of this publication can be provided upon request. Unless otherwise noted, all data accessed via MarketWatch or the Bloomberg terminal. Past performance does not guarantee future results. A copy of Narwhal's Form ADV is available at the SEC's website, www.advisorinfo.sec.gov, or from Narwhal upon written request.